Asheville, North Carolina's Walmart parking lot bustled under the harsh midday sun as customers hurried in and out, protecting their eyes from the glare and running to avoid the heat. Nobody initially noticed the unkempt golden dog until it started jumping wildly and pawing and scratching at the door of a silver sedan. Some people laughed, assuming it was just a stray seeking cover. But Ethan, a young store employee on his lunch break, stopped in the middle of his soda because something about the dog's desperation made his stomach turn. He threw his drink aside and jogged over. But as he approached, the heat from the pavement was oppressive. He peered through the dusty window and froze an elderly man slumped against the steering wheel, motionless. "Hey, somebody call 911. Ethan slammed his fist against the glass and yelled. A number of onlookers turned and mumbled in confusion as the doors were locked. The dispatcher's voice sounded on Ethan's phone, pleading with him to move quickly. Ethan grabbed a tire iron from a nearby pickup truck and struck the window twice with force. The glass shattered and the wave of stifling heat nearly knocked him back. He yanked the door open, careful not to cut himself, and eased a man out onto the scorching asphalt. The golden dog, thin, trembling, dusty, and desperate, darted forward, pressing its nose against a man's face, whimpering urgently. Moments later, the ambulance arrived. Paramedics rushed and, lifting the elderly man onto a stretcher, the dog tried to climb in after embarking. Frantically, Ethan hesitated. He knew hospital rules, but something deep inside told him not to leave the dog behind. He helped lift the scruffy golden creature into the back of the ambulance, settling it gently beside the unconscious man at the hospital. Doctors confirmed what Ethan had feared: severe heat stroke. The elderly man, identified as Walter Harris, had likely been trapped in his car for nearly an hour, the rising midday temperatures turning it into a deadly oven. They said if Ethan and that dog had found him even 15 minutes later, it would have been too late. Outside the hospital doors, as the nurses discovered, Max the dog was a constant, lying curled up on the concrete with his eyes fixed on the entrance and refusing food and water unless Ethan urged him to. 3 days went by. Walter's condition gradually improved, but he didn't respond. The doctor said it might take weeks for him to recover, if at all. At least at last, one of the nurses sobbed and begged the hospital supervisor. Just one visit, just one chance. Thus, on a muggy Friday afternoon, Max was permitted inside. As the golden dog padded into Walter's room, the air changed, and Max gave a soft, pathetic whine while placing his paws on the bedside. Walter's fingers twitched, and they moved slowly and shakily in the direction of the sound. A tear ran down his wrinkled cheek, and he whispered, "Max," barely breathing. The nurses gasped. When Walter was finally released, Max trotted proudly beside his wheelchair, his tail wagging for the first time in days before they left. Walter turned to Ethan, who was holding his hand with surprising strength, and said, "You didn't just save me," saying hoarsely, "you saved my best friend too." Ethan stood quietly in the doorway and wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. From that point on, Walter's recovery accelerated. He started speaking in short sentences, then longer ones, smiling and laughing, and he repeatedly asked about Max, as if tying himself to reality through the dog's unwavering presence. Some rescues involve loud sirens and flashing lights, while others are more subdued and involve a devoted dog's frantic paws scratching against a hot car door. On some of the hottest afternoons, love, not luck, is what saves a life.